our regular commission meeting. We'll start off this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a consent agenda this evening.
Mayor, I move for approval of consent agenda.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. That motion carries. First item of our regular agenda this evening is the presentation from the RaileRobotics Team.
Yep.
We are the RaileRobotics team from Team 935 from Newton High School. This is a photo of us winning second place at one of our regionals. Our team, we are a group of high schoolers from Newton High, a 9 through 12 range participating in FIRST Robotics. We work together with a group of mentors. These people could be anybody around us in multiple groups of engineering, computer science, art, and manufacturing too. We meet weekly in the fall, and during build season, we meet Monday through Friday, usually 3:30 to 4 to 8 o'clock, and Saturdays, 8 o'clock to 12. Some of our students like to stay late, though, which is always fun. Our history, we were founded in 2011. We are the longest continual running team in FIRST Robotics in Kansas. We have never missed a season in our years. We are Team 935, meaning we are one of the first teams in the area. Your team number is when you joined FIRST Robotics. We have been the only FIRST Robotics team in South Central Kansas since last year. We have won the Creativity in Engineering and Design Award 4 times in a row. This is a large award which recognizes teams with purposeful creative design choices that set them apart from the competitions. We placed second in the entire state last year, and we were runners up to go to Worlds, which is our championship. Our game, on the first Saturday in January, our game is released in Our game is released, and there is a manual and an animation to go along with it, which it's a video. Our build season is the next 8 weeks after that game is released. We design, create, and manufacture parts, and build the robot. Got it that time. We have 5 subgroups in our main team. We have the design team, who design and develop our parts in CAD. We have our media team, who connects us to our sponsors and posts videos of our robot and our team. We have a manufacturing team, who builds the parts that design makes for us and assembles the whole robot. We have our controls team, who codes the robot to perform functions with a human driver and 15 seconds of independent running during matches. We also have an electronics group, which do the whole electronics of the robot. Here is our game video that was released this year, and our robot will be coming to visit you during these videos.
Skip the verification.
This one? Go ahead.
Welcome to the 2025 FIRST Robotics Competition game, Reefscape, presented by Haas. 2 alliances of 3 teams each compete to earn points by harvesting algae, seeding coral on their reef, and returning to their barge to ascend to the ocean's surface. Alliances earn additional rewards for meeting specific scoring thresholds and for cooperating with their opponents. Prior to the start of the match, teams can choose to hang a shallow cage or a deep cage on their barge. Robots start each match at their starting line and may be preloaded with 1 coral. During the first 15 seconds of the match, robots are autonomous and can be programmed to leave the starting line, remove algae from their reef, and place coral on their reef. If all enabled robots on an alliance leave the starting line and score at least 1 coral in auto, the alliance earns the auto ranking point. During the following 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the match, drivers control their robot. Robots can place algae in their net and collect coral from human players at their coral station to place on their reef. Coral placed higher on the reef are worth more points. If an alliance can score enough coral on all 4 levels, they will earn an additional ranking point. Robots can also deliver algae to their processor. Once processed, the algae can be taken by the opposing human player and scored into the net. When 2 algae are delivered to each processor, both alliances earn a co-op point. The co-op point reduces the number of coral needed on the reef to earn the ranking point and influences a team's rank in the tournament. As time runs out, robots race back to their barge to hang on their cage and ascend to the ocean surface. Points are awarded to robots that can hang on a shallow cage, and even more points are awarded to robots that can hang on a deep cage. An alliance that scores enough barge points will earn the barge ranking point. The alliance that earns the most points overall wins the match.
So excited to share with you these beautiful custom save the dates and invitations.
Where did the slide go? So this is a hype video that one of our team members made of how we did this season and how our robots scored. So for the first time in RaileRobotics history, we competed with 2 teams, Team 935 and Team 757, which this is their first year competing. Team 935's robot we named it Big Octopus. It weighs 114.8 pounds. It's 41 inches tall on the left picture where it's not extended, 35 inches wide and 35 inches long. Team 757, we named the robot Bot Lobster. It weighs 114.6 pounds. It's 40 inches tall, 32 inches wide, and 38 inches long. We compete at regional meets. If you win a regional meet, you're qualified to attend Worlds. These competitions are hosted in many cities across the nation. We commonly travel to the greater Kansas City area and Oklahoma. There are usually 36 to 40 teams each competition. This year, at our first meet, Team 757 ranked 6th, which is high enough to be team captain of the 6th Alliance going into our championship tournament. At our second meet, Team 935 got chosen to participate in the 2nd Alliance for the championship tournament and finished 2nd overall. We also took our scouting program to the next level by going from paper scouting to electronic. This included writing the program, attaining the tablets, and making everything work without internet.
What makes RaileRobotics unique is robotics is meant to help students learn the skills that they can use later in life. And we use our school's machine shop to manufacture our own parts. We also use 3D print we also 3D print a lot of our parts. We don't use kits. And we can teach students computer literacy, coding literacy, ingenuity, problem solving, productivity, public speaking, shop safety, teamwork, time management, and working with others. Our coaches, Alan Vermillion, has been with RaileRobotics for 8 years, and he is up for, he's always open for opinions of everyone. And Colin Potlery has been with RaileRobotics for 11 years, and he brings the energy while encouraging the kids to be creative and be who they are. And he is also a RaileRobotics alumni. What makes RaileRobotics special is our mentors. We utilize help from our community in the form of mentors, teachers, parents, skilled trade workers, business owners, alumni. Anyone could be a mentor. What makes RaileRobotics unique are alumni. Here's a sample of where our team members are now. Locally, senior project engineer, product design engineer, CAD officer, and systems admin. And not as locally, aircraft metals tech, RMW technician, and market manager of strategy. These are some of the pictures of us at our last competition, regional. And this includes a picture of us showing our team spirit in the stands. And please join us to the open house on Friday, May 2nd, starting at 4:30 p.m., ending at 6:30 p.m. It's at the RaileRobotics building right behind the Newton High School. Thank you for your time. We hope to see you at the open house, and that'll be all for us for now.
Well, thank you for a great presentation, and it's really awesome to see. And you fielded 2 teams this year. That's awesome. So.
Thank you.
Anything? You want to get a photo?
Oh, definitely.
Can we get a photo out in front here? You want to go down with them, or you want to sit up here?
You go down with them and we'll stand behind you. There's Clark. You pick that up, Leroy.
I'm not doing it.
Cool looking machine. That is.
There you go. All right. Good job. Perfect. 1, 2, 3. Great. Thank you.
It's like half your team, or how many? Oh, this is quarter? Quarter?
Oh, wow.
Quarter, fifth, somewhere in there.
Good job. Good job.
All righty. Moving along, the next item this evening is to consider a proclamation declaring April 25th as Arbor Day. Jackie?
Okay, that's a tough act to follow, so sorry. I'm just going to say that. As you may or may not be aware, the proclamation for Arbor Day, as well as the Arbor Day celebration, each year is one of the many requirements that we have to keep our Tree City USA and our Tree Cities of the World designation. In 2024, we celebrated 49 years as a Tree City USA, which Newton has been part of since its inception. along with Dodge City, Clay Center, and Junction City. We were the 4 cities that have been in there since the beginning. There are over 3,000 partners as Tree City USA in the state of Kansas, or overall, sorry. Tree Cities of the World, we celebrated 5 years, and again, we have been part of that since the inception. We are one of 45 cities in the USA, with Nebraska City and Denver, Colorado being the closest ones in proximity to us. There are over 200 partners in 24 countries participating in that program. So our Arbor Day celebration this year will actually be tomorrow, April 23rd at 12:10 p.m. We're going to be celebrating with a 3rd grade class at Northridge Elementary. And we're going to be planting a legacy sugar maple, which is a shade tree. Gets about 40 to 80 feet tall and about 30 to 60 feet wide, and it will be in the playground area. So we will be doing that with them tomorrow. Hopefully the rain will hold out for that hour so that we can get that accomplished. So, and I brought my daughter tonight, and I'm going to give her a little public speaking experience. So she's going to read the proclamation.
I don't need another one.
Oh, you can do it.
Oh, you got this.
You can do this.
Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting, heating, and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas Newton has been recognized as Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting practices.
Now, therefore, I, Rich Stinnett, Mayor of the City of Newton, do hereby proclaim April 26, 2025 as Arbor Day in the City of Newton, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
You did good.
You did good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I move we approve this proclamation.
We have a motion. Do we have
I'll second.
And a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. You want it now, or she'll give it to you?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Next item this evening is to consider a proclamation declaring the week of May 11th through 17th, 2025 as National Police Week, and May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day. Chief Dunleavy?
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to recognize our officers. They put in a lot of work and dedication to the community, and I appreciate you recognizing them. On May 15th at 11:30 out in front of the Law Enforcement Training Center, we're going to have a memorial, as we do every year, recognize those that have fallen in the line of duty. So you're more than welcome to attend, so I appreciate that. So, whereas the Congress and the President of the United States have designated May 15th and Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which May 15th falls National Police Week. And whereas the members of the Newton Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the City of Newton, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the men and women of the Newton Police Department unceasingly provide the vital service, public service, and in doing so, have established themselves an enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens.
Therefore, I, Rich Stinnett, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Newton in the state of Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of May 11th through 17th, 2025 as National Police Week, and call upon all citizens of the city of Newton to observe Thursday, May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty. And let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes.
I move we approve this proclamation for National Police Week.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next item is to consider a proclamation declaring May 4th through 10, 2025 as National Small Business Week. Pam, welcome.
Mayor, Commissioners, it's my honor to be here to support small business. They are the backbone of our community, and I just continue to push efforts that we support local because these small businesses are the ones that give to all our schools, churches, civic organizations. So I just encourage everybody to continue to support our small business. Whereas the American entrepreneurial spirit is defining quality of our nation, which time and again has lifted us to new heights and carried us through the greatest challenges. And whereas small businesses are not only the engines of our economic process, but they are the heart and soul of our communities. And whereas small business define our communities, drive innovation, and create the products and services that enrich our lives and solve global problems. And whereas Newton is proud to be the home of many small businesses and serve as a welcoming home to new entrepreneurs and
Now, therefore, I, Rich Stinnett, Mayor in the city of Newton, Kansas, do hereby proclaim May 4 through 10, 2025 as National Small Business Week and call upon the people of Newton to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in this special observance. Call for a motion.
I move that we approve this proclamation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign.
Thank you,
Motion
Pam.
carries.
thank you. And we plan to have a lot of stuff on social media that week and on our website. So stay tuned.
Thank you. Next item this evening is to receive bids for the 826 Runway project. Brian?
Good evening, Commission. As you recall, back in February, you authorized us to go out to bid for the Runway 826 project. When we opened the initial bids in March, those bids came in above our engineer's assessment, and so we had to reject those bids. We were authorized to go out to bid after some adjustments to the engineer's assessment. We were able to go out to bid again. We opened those bids on April 10th. Those bids did come under the engineer's assessment this time, and so I'm asking that you approve the bids and award the low bid to Donlinger. Their bid was, sorry, I have to look it up here. I don't have it in front of me. $4,275,216. And they were the low qualified bidder this time around. I would also ask that you allow staff to sign for the grant application so we can apply for the federal grant that will cover the largest portion of this. So if you'll allow staff to sign for that as well.
I would move we accept the bid for the 826 Runway project and authorize staff to sign the agreements necessary to do the grant.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign.
Thank you, Commissioners.
The motion carries. Thank you. Next item this evening is to consider a lease agreement for the JoeBravo Aviation for Hangar A. Brian and Chris again.
Kick it off?
Yeah.
I can kick it off, and Brian can jump in. This is a airport lease agreement. As you recall, all airport lease agreements we sign with the county as the co-owners of the property. This is a lease with JoeBravo for Hangar A. It's a 4-year term. They also have two-year extensions. It would generate $2,000 a month in rental income. We also added 2 other documents, a termination of lease, and then also a release and hold harmless that pertains to the previous tenant. We could wrap that up in a single motion to approve those 3 documents. I'll let Brian jump in with anything else, some color on this one.
No, as you recall, we did reach a settlement with the previous tenant, and that allowed for them to move out as expeditiously as possible, and we were able to put JoeBravo Aviation in there. They've already been in there a year. They had signed a short-term lease as soon as the previous tenant had vacated. They're a good tenant. We've seen a significant increase in our 100 low-lead fuel sales, and so though the agreement, the settlement wasn't all of what we would want, it certainly benefited us by, we've probably made that money back in threefold since then. So it was a good opportunity for us to take advantage of that at that time.
And it's not the full hangar, it's you're keeping some for your operations.
We are, yeah, we're splitting the hangar. They're going to use most of the spots. We have one reserved spot for a small single engine airplane. And then we use a lot of the storage for our lawnmowers and documents and stuff like that on part of the hangar too. What we have found over the years is that our hangar is just not big enough for the type of airplanes that need storage space. And so this will allow us to actually generate more revenue with this lease agreement than we generally generate as a using it as a transient hangar, because it's just not big enough for those big airplanes to fit into.
Okay, thank you for that.
I move that we approve this lease agreement.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Hearing none, that motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next item this evening is the Citizens Forum. Mr. Myers?
Yes, I'm here mainly based on my concern about citizens of Newton when they have an animal in their backyard in a cage. They are not being, the laws of Newton and Kansas are not being enforced. And I'd like to bring this awareness to our police department and to the city as a whole. As I have here mentioned, these are requirements based on the city and the Kansas cruelty laws. We must provide food that is kept from freezing or being contaminated. We must provide potable water that must be kept from freezing during the winter months. And during the winter months, if you're going to have a dog in a cage, it must be a heated bowl. And this is based on the requirements if in the state and state laws as well as the county laws that is mentioned in here, that the protection of the animal's environment. And when we say environment, we say protecting the animal from the elements of the weather. The cage or the dog house that the animal's in must have, the shelter must be such that it protects the animal from the winter, and this involves having the proper insulation or bedding, and and the animal must be, if it's during the summer months, the animal must have shade, because we know that temperatures can exceed 100 degrees in the summer, and an animal cannot be exposed to 100-degree temperature, and it must have shade. And this is all involved in protecting the animal's environment. It's all listed here. I have the laws noted here that I've given you in the city as well as the state laws. Another issue is sanitation. We have a lot of people in Newton and I know of one instances where an animal was kept in a cage, and the cage was on a dirt floor that became muddy, and when the animal would with the animal's feces and urine, it was constantly being exposed to that unhealthy environment. And sanitation is mentioned specifically in our city ordinances, that there must be, the facility must be clean. And if we're going to have an animal in a cage, you have to have a concrete floor. That's the only way you can keep the cage clean. You can't have a muddy floor and try to keep the animal clean. So that would be one thing that we need to be aware of in our city. And the temperatures also, we had experienced this winter when temperatures got down to 6 below. Okay, and under maintaining a healthy environment for an animal listed in state and local laws, you cannot expose an animal to those kind of temperatures. It must be brought in to an indoor facility where there's heat. And it would be considered a offense of cruelty to an animal. The problem is a lot of people in Newton aren't aware of the requirements put forth in the state and local laws. And I did talk to Chief Dunleavy about this on the phone, and he suggested, he suggested, well, maybe when a person adopts an animal at our Humane Society, that they receive some kind of information of the requirements that they must meet if they're going to have an animal in a cage. Another item here specifically mentioned in the state laws that an animal has to have a cage large enough to exercise. Well, and I've seen animals in a cage in Newton where the dog could just basically get out of its doghouse and that was about it. But according to the state laws, an animal has to have a cage large enough to be able to exercise. Again, I don't think people in Newton are aware of these requirements. You know, they may, and when an animal control officer is called, I want them to investigate the situation and make sure that the people that have an animal in a cage, that they meet these requirements. One of the complaints I had with the animal control officer is that when I made a complaint, I didn't know if they followed up with it or not. And I would like to have, if you make a complaint about an animal in a cage here in Newton that's not meeting the requirements necessary or city and state laws, that the animal control officer consider this probable cause and go out and investigate the situation. And after their investigation, get back with the person that made their complaint and give them a report of what they found. So I think that needs to be improved, because I don't think we're getting enough communication with the animal control officer to inform the complaining citizen about what the results of their investigation came up with. So anyway, I would like to make the city aware that we have people in Newton that aren't meeting the requirements necessary to keep an animal in a cage. And I would like that this awareness be brought about either through public information, through pamphlets. I even suggested to the chief of police that we put information in a water bill about the requirements. If you're going to keep an animal in a cage, these are the requirements you must meet based on the state and local laws. So I don't know what his thoughts are on that. Did you have any thoughts on that, Chief?
Investigating these?
No, about putting out requirements. If people in the city want to keep animals in a cage, what the requirements are.
Yes, as we talked on the phone, it was my suggestion that we do like a campaign, an information campaign about just like handing out a pamphlet to folks that are going to adopt an animal from the Humane Society or wherever, if they're going to purchase an animal. We can put it on our social media. In fact, I was in contact with our public information officer. We are in the process of putting that campaign out as we speak. We're getting together. Erin is working with our animal control officer so we can get this information out, especially with the heat of the summer coming. I agree with you. I think the pet owners should know how to take care of their pets. Maybe they don't know, so we can help them be educated on that. So I agree with you.
I think getting information out there is a good idea. I think we've actually put something in the water bill in the past.
A few things. I don't know if it's exactly on that.
I can't remember what all was covered, but we have. Maybe we can work with our partners at the animal shelter and our animal control officer so they have something at open streets, maybe some handouts at open streets.
What I would like to see, I think the better thing, if we could put something in the water bill. If you're going to have an animal and put it in a cage, these are the requirements you must meet based on our city and Kansas laws.
Is that something that we can do?
Well, we are, our animal control officer is going to be out at open streets this weekend on Sunday. She is going to be out there and helping with this campaign about educating the folks as well.
It's going to take some time, but we're going to work on getting the info out.
Okay. So anyway, I just want to mention all the information that I have put on the sheet is based on our laws already existing. So we need to just enforce the laws.
Thank you, Ed.
Did you get a copy, Denise?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Mr. Cozart? Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah, about one of the first ones that has gotten it right. It's just the way it's spelled. My question is kind of a personal question on our water and sewer bills. From what I understood, looking it up online, we use three, what's it called?
Cubic feet?
100 cubic feet is the minimum, and it's got a set price, and then every 100 cubic feet above that is another $12. Well, my bill recently is sitting at a 4, but I'm paying for a 5 or 6. I'm paying $70-something for the sewer, to where that's like $12 over. So in the last 3 months, I've paid more than $36 over in the last 3 months. And I asked the lady before you pay the bills, and she said it was because I had a 7 in December, which was November's reading. I don't understand how that works.
You want to talk about the average?
We take an average of your water use, like in December, January, and February. That way there's no water that's being used on your lawn and stuff like that. And then that's averaged from those 3 months, and that's what you pay all year. And then next year, it will re-average again. So it's not a monthly thing. It's once you hit that mark, that average, then it's that way for 12 months.
Okay.
Unless you had a leak or something, then we will look at that.
I understand how quick that can go too.
Yeah.
So in other words, I'm sitting at a 4 for January, February, January, February, and March. So that 4 will run throughout the year?
Well, it depends if you're December, January, February, average.
So
if you had a bad one in December, like I have a lot of company in December, so it always kind of messes mine up. So I have.
See, there's just 2 of us living in the house, so.
So it's probably.
It's kind of repetitious. I mean, we stay with about the same amount of water throughout the year. And for that to go up to a 7, I'm looking into it again to find out why.
Sometimes those toilets it's a terrible leak.
I know, I've checked that.
If we find out you did have a leak, we will always back that down.
Right, yeah, no leaks. I mean, I've actually had the guy come out and check it with his little computer, and there was no leaks. And it's like, I put water in my lawn, which.
We won't count that.
I'm kind of sad on that.
Yeah, we won't count that, though. That doesn't count. It counts for your water, but not your sewer. Because we don't take that in consideration for your sewer.
So washing my car doesn't.
That hurts your water, but not your sewer.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Washing your car and watering your lawn in the 3 months that they take the average, so December, January, February. So
would
people
count.
aren't washing their cars in those months. People
Right.
aren't watering their lawns. And it's because we don't have meters on the sewer side. So
Correct.
So the assumption is during those months, whatever's coming out of the tap is going down the sewer. So that's the math that they're using.
So is that unheard of to have a 4 and being charged $70-something on the sewer?
I'm not exactly, I'd have to look at your bill.
January, February, and March. I had a 4 all 3 months.
So that you
Yeah,
should,
all 3 months, my bill actually was to the penny the same thing.
so it should be pretty close. I don't know, we'll have to look at
It
that.
should have been 56.62.
Okay. What's your, and your,
Can
I can get it from.
Yeah. Can
Oh,
you?
she changed it for me today.
Oh,
Once I
okay.
discussed it with her.
Good.
Okay, good. That's what we do.
That's what we do. So that's good to hear.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. Well, that's the end of Citizens Forum. We will go around the horn. Commissioner Bowser?
I really enjoyed being able to attend the NMC ER expansion project today. What a deal. That I just can't, I really can't do justice explaining it. I was just overwhelmed in the short amount of time, in just a year, how they laid all that out and the way they designed it. I think it's just excellent. I was just speechless. It really left me speechless. What a great thing, because they said their numbers are going up on behavioral health patients, and now they're going to have the room to treat patients, so their privacy is maintained, and it looks great. It's how they designed it. I think it's just phenomenal. So I want to say, great deal.
I don't have anything.
Donna?
No, sir.
No, sir.
I would just like to say that the robotics team that was here tonight, what a gem we have out there, the CT program, and that, those are the future leaders of this community right there. And how phenomenal that is, and how high they've placed, on and off through the years, that I think we can just be very proud of what we have at Newton High School.
Exactly.
That's it.
Sir?
Yeah, I would just like to note that Senate Bill 125 was signed into law by Governor Laura Kelly, and it's 298 pages, so I won't read it all, but it is the passenger rail service for the Heartland Flyer extension. KDOT is now fully funded to execute and take advantage of the passenger rail service funding. They kick-started it with $5 million that's supposedly going to go in there July 1st, 2025. So just a small, I should say small step, a big step in the right direction. We still have a long way to go, though. So.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank you.
Great.
And talking about that.
Well, with that, we are adjourned.